Today we are looking at emotional abuse and your health. What is emotional abuse? Emotional abuse is a subtle kind of abuse that is not usually noticeable but has far damaging effects on the health of the recipient. So emotional abuse is often hard to recognize than the other forms of abuse. What does it involve? It involves a broad range of tactics, including shaming and gaslighting, which are meant to leave you feeling powerless, hopeless, and dejected. There are short-term and long-term effects of emotional abuse in adults. So some of these short-term effects of emotional abuse are isolation and loneliness, self-doubt, shame, confusion, low self-esteem, fear when interacting with others, avoidance of activities related to the incidents, and feelings of powerlessness. And the long-term effects of emotional abuse involves mental health conditions, neuroticism or the tendency towards low mood and negative emotions like anger. We have issues of chronic stress, physical health challenges like body aches and heart palpitations, attachment challenges, emotional disconnect or apathy. So when we look at the effect of emotional abuse on the brain, we see that long-term emotional abuse can potentially impact your brain, especially if the abuse happened during childhood when the brain is still developing. There are some ways research has suggested that emotional abuse actually affects your brain. Early emotional abuse could cause changes to the hippocampus that make it harder to empathize with emotions of others. Emotional abuse has been linked to training of certain areas of the brain that helps you manage emotions and be self-aware, especially the prefrontal cortex and temporal lobe. Research from 2018 has connected childhood abuse to epigenetic brain damages that may cause depression. Epigenetic refers to how your environment and behaviors affect your gene. So in particular, the study found changes to certain genes in the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is an area of the brain that is involved in the stress response. Abuse also has an effect on relationships. It causes codependency, fear of abandonance, trust challenges, difficulty being authentic. And then we have the effects of emotional abuse on your self-image, on your personality. It makes you to have low self-esteem because emotional abuse consists of put-downs. It makes you not to be so sure of yourself, thus leading to feelings of worthlessness. It might make you feel that you are less deserving than other people around you. Emotional abuse, especially the gaslighting part, makes you question your own thoughts, abilities, and perception of reality. And then if you are constantly being gaslighted, you notice that you have less confidence in your instincts, which might lead to self-sabotage or more difficulty identifying and trusting your own feelings. Then it sometimes leads to feelings of shamefulness, as if you are ashamed of who you are, ashamed of your likes and dislikes, of your hope for the future. Now, finally, we are looking at emotional abuse, the effect of emotional abuse on your overall mental health. Emotional abuse, because it's not physically noticed, it has a far damaging effect on your personality, more than you can think of. It makes you feel worthless. It makes you feel ashamed. It makes you to doubt yourself. It makes you to sabotage yourself. And then when you are constantly being exposed to this verbal abuse, to people using cruel words on you, making you feel worthless, when you are constantly being exposed to this, what is the effect on your mental health? It causes social anxiety. According to a research conducted in 2015 that studied adults who had emotional abuse when they were children, it shows that it leads to social anxiety disorder. This happens when the abuse creates feelings of shame and inadequacy, as well as self-criticism, making you prone to fearfulness and being afraid to interact with others. Being exposed to emotional abuse leads to depression. It is strongly linked to depression in adulthood. And research experts suggest this happens because your behavior undermines your capacity for self-compassion and fosters shame. Constantly being exposed to emotional abuse could lead to eating disorders. Because you are ashamed of who you have become, it increases your chances of developing eating disorder, which means that you can binge eat, you have anorexia, bulimia, and so many other sicknesses or disorders. Constantly being exposed to emotional abuse could lead to post-traumatic stress disorder or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. What does this mean? It means that constant bullying, constant emotional abuse, being talked down on, people using cruel words on you, makes you to have this stress, this post-traumatic stress. It has far-reaching effects on you. So what are the physical effects of emotional abuse on its own? We've talked about the mental health. For some people, if not carefully managed, if they don't undergo therapy, it might lead to much more worse things or dangerous things that we can think of. So there are several physical impacts connected to chronic emotional abuse. You have the issues of chronic pain. Adverse emotional abuse could increase your chances of experiencing forms of chronic pain, such as back pain, headaches. It leads to a lot of unresolved trauma and attachment issues. It has been found that emotional abuse has been linked to irritable bowel syndrome, which can involve painful bloating, diarrhea, and constipation. So as a woman or as a man that wants to enjoy healthy life, that want to practice healthy living, check that there are no issues or cases of emotional abuse going on in your life. And if there is, please, I implore you to set boundaries. I implore you to set boundaries, what you can take and what you cannot take. And then go for therapy to help you heal from the after effect of those cruel words, of those yelling, of those screamings, of those shovings and gaslighting that has been used on you. Remember, healthy living is the ultimate goal. If you have passed through this, please go for therapy. If you like our videos, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you get our videos as they drop.